The statue suddenly began to shed tears of blood, terrifying everyone present. The high priest told everyone not to get distracted and to keep chanting, but suddenly, a man's eyes and mouth started bleeding, and he screamed in agony as blue flames burst from his body, burning him to ashes in seconds. More and more people were consumed by these blue flames, but the high priest still shouted for everyone not to retreat, insisting they had to protect this world. Yet, even the high priest himself wasn't spared, dying in a burst of blue fire. Meanwhile, this story is about a boy named Lynn Okumura, a so-called good-for-nothing troublemaker who only knows how to fight. That day, he went to a convenience store for a job interview, and the store manager, seeing how clueless he looked, made things hard for him by asking him to move a 10-meter stack of goods outside all by himself. The other staff knew the manager was being mean and started to pity Lynn, but were shocked the next moment when Lynn easily lifted the goods and finished the task in seconds, leaving the manager with no choice but to hire him. Delighted, Lynn rushed home to tell his family the good news, and everyone was so happy for him that they decided to celebrate that night. Just as Lynn was about to return to work, he saw a little girl chasing after a flying scarf, which was actually being pulled away by a monster. Lynn chased the monster, causing chaos in the shop, and so, on his very first day of work, he lost his job. When Lynn returned home, the little girl and her father came by to thank him. The father explained that his daughter was always clumsy and got hurt for no reason, but Lynn, noticing the girl's sad expression, told the father she wasn't clumsy, but rather being tricked. The father, who had no idea about the existence of monsters, grew angry and wanted to confront the school, but the girl stopped him. The father still didn't understand, dismissing it all as his daughter's imagination. The dean interrupted, explaining that people who can't see the truth simply can't understand. He gave the girl a protective charm, and the girl, feeling comforted, left with her father. The dean realized Lynn could now see monsters and immediately forbade him from going out. That night, the dean went to the basement and opened a box containing a demon blade, its seal already leaking evil energy, indicating the power was no longer fully contained. Meanwhile, some thugs came for revenge, only to discover the useless Lynn was actually their long-lost young master. One of these thugs, who Lynn had beaten up just the day before, showed up acting all arrogant but seemed off, surrounded by a strange aura. He insulted Lynn's family with money, infuriating Lynn, who knocked him out with a punch. Suddenly, the thug's body transformed, sharp claws, hard spines, clearly not human. Lynn was pinned down by the thug's followers, and a scorching iron rod was brought close to his body. Terrified, Lynn saw his own body engulfed in blue flames, but at that moment, his father calmly approached, chanting a spell, and with ease, fought off the demon that had possessed the thug and drove it away. Father told Lynn to hide immediately or more demons would attack. Lynn, confused, couldn't understand his father's urgency, but his father dragged him back to the monastery and set up 3 protective barriers. Lynn, seeing everyone busy, suddenly felt like a stranger. Outside, demons battered the barrier. Father led Lynn to the basement and handed him a demon-slaying sword, ordering him to always keep it with him, but never, ever draw it, because the sword sealed away his demonic power, and if he drew it, he'd awaken those powers and never be human again. Outside, the thug, again possessed by a demon, tried to ram a car through the barrier, shattering it. Lynn, after living such an ordinary life for over 10 years, was suddenly told he was the son of a demon. The demon kin had discovered his existence, swarming in. For his safety, Father locked Lynn in the basement and entrusted him with the sword he must never unsheath. The usually cheerful father was actually the strongest exorcist, and even Lynn's playful friends were all secretly skilled. But the enemy wasn't an ordinary demon, it was the kin of Satan himself. Despite everyone's best efforts, they were losing, facing total defeat. Lynn escaped and knocked down a demon. Father seized the chance to banish it, but warned the danger wasn't over and Lynn must hide. Overwhelmed, Lynn finally broke down emotionally. As Father looked at his own hand, which had just struck Lynn, his heart faltered, and a demon seized the opening. Father erupted in blue flames, his face twisted, possessed by no one other than Lynn's own real father, Satan, Lord of the Void. With just a look, Satan burned the others nearly to death, leaving them helpless. Unable to withstand Satan's possession, Father began bleeding from every orifice. Then, with terrible force, had his own hand torn off. The blood opened the gate to the void world, and Satan was about to take Lynn away. Helpless and sobbing, Lynn could only watch as Father, mustering the last bit of his will, stabbed a sacred weapon into his own heart. Lynn rushed to Father, crying desperately, and finally, looking at the demon-slaying sword in his hand, made the decision to draw it. Blue light lit up the monastery. His teeth grew sharp, his ears pointed. Blue flames engulfed him. He had awakened as a true demon, Furious Lynn. With a single slash, he shattered the void gate and brought a strange calm. Standing up at last, Lynn looked down at Father's cold body and finally broke into tears. With Satan's arrival, Father's tragic death, and the destruction of the monastery, seeds of hatred were planted deep in Lynn's heart. At the funeral, Lynn took out the phone Father had given him, which only had one number. When he called, a mysterious voice answered. To Lynn's shock, Father's contact wasn't someone coming to protect him, but someone ordered to destroy him. Surrounded by exorcists, Lynn faced their challenges and gave an unexpected answer. Mephisto, amused by Lynn's absurd words, agreed to Lynn's request and brought him to an academy. But this was no ordinary academy. On the surface, a prestigious school, but secretly a training ground for unknown exorcists. To Lynn's surprise, his twin brother Yukio was the school's star freshman. Seeing his talented brother, Lynn became even more determined not to let Yukio be dragged into the demon world. A little dog with a pink bow led Lynn to a clearing. Turns out, this was actually Mephisto in disguise. Mephisto handed Lynn a key that worked like Doraemon's anywhere door, instantly transporting him to a private school. From then on, Lynn attended classes at the academy by day and trained as an exorcist by night. He mustered his courage to open the classroom door and found a handful of odd students inside. The teacher shocked Lynn even more. It was his brother Yukio. Still in the dark, Lynn questioned Yukio, who revealed that, as twins, Yukio had been exposed to his brother's demonic power since birth and could see demons from a young age. In the heat of argument, they accidentally broke a test tube of tainted blood, attracting hordes of little demons, which Yukio swiftly defeated. During the fight, Yukio finally confessed he blamed Lynn for father's death and even pointed a gun at him, infuriating Lynn. Meanwhile, a blonde girl tended the garden daily, unable to leave because she had made a pact with a demon to always be with the plants. One day, Yukio took on a mission and Lynn, wagging his tail, insisted on tagging along. With no choice, Yukio let him come. Yukio used Solomon's key to open the dorm door and instantly transported them to a floating castle, but only exorcists could enter, leaving Lynn outside. Lynn discovered a secret garden where a beautiful blonde girl, Shihui Mei, tended the plants. Lynn tried to enter and accidentally broke a barrier, which scared the girl. Only a powerful demon could break it. Yukio met with the client, the girl's mother. The girl, Shihui Mei, had lost the use of her legs after her grandmother's accidental death months ago. She was always close to her grandmother, caring for the garden together. Shihui Mei realized Lynn wasn't bad and, with her dirty hand, tried to make peace, but Lynn was dazzled by her beauty. Her mother and Yukio found them, and Yukio lifted Shihui Mei's skirt, revealing monstrous roots growing up her legs. A demon called the Root had possessed her, hiding somewhere in the garden. Her mother panicked, wanting to take her daughter away, but Shihui Mei fought back, suddenly going blank and fainting. That night, Lynn saw Shihui Mei still tending the plants and, unable to hold back, smashed a flower pot. She stopped him, blaming herself for being greedy and failing to save her grandmother in time, and vowed to take care of the garden out of guilt. Suddenly, roots burst from her legs, trapping her. Lynn drew his demon-slaying sword to fight the plant demon, but couldn't go all out because of Shihui Mei. Yukio appeared and aimed his gun at the plant demon, starting a battle of wills which finally drove the demon out of Shihui Mei. Lynn finished it off, and with the demon gone, Shihui Mei could walk again. The mother and daughter hugged in tears, finally at peace. Lynn, now hiding his identity as Satan's son, ended up the class underdog, hated by the top student, a blonde, earring-wearing genius named Ryuji, who despised Lynn's uselessness. Their rivalry only intensified, and during a combat lesson against a toad monster, Ryuji kicked Lynn away to get ahead, only for the toad to sneak up behind him. Luckily, the teacher intervened, but the teacher only scolded Ryuji, explaining that Lynn was a special student chosen by Mayor Lee. Ryuji's followers explained he wanted to become an exorcist to defeat Satan because 16 years ago, Satan massacred all the powerful exorcists, leaving Ryuji's father to inherit a now-shunned temple. Hearing Ryuji wanted to defeat his birth father, Lynn found it ironic. Suddenly, the teacher received a call and warned them never to approach the toad monster because it could see into people's hearts before attacking. Ryuji challenged Lynn to see who could touch the monster first, but Lynn refused, not wanting to reveal his true power by drawing his sword. Ryuji, determined to win, went in alone and shouted he'd defeat Satan. The monster saw an image of Ryuji being laughed at, shaking him deeply, and the demon lashed out. Meanwhile, Mephisto watched from a tower as the demon king Amimon called him brother, and explained that Satan's illegitimate son in the human world had angered all the demons in the void realm. In class, a teacher demonstrated how to summon a demon, showing it required not only talent, but also tremendous spiritual strength, which only a rare few possessed. She handed out papers with magic circles, and a student easily summoned 2 white tigers, drawing praise. Shihui Mei summoned her green beast, making another girl, Chuyun, jealous. After class, the girls relaxed in the baths. The short-haired girl said she wanted to quit, but Chuyun, not wanting to lose her only friend, promised to protect her. Suddenly, something mysterious dripped down. Looking up, they screamed. The short-haired girl was attacked by a demon's poisonous staff. Chuyun tried to summon her demon to fight back, but was shaken by memories of her friend wanting to leave and froze. Lynn urged her to tear up the magic circle, but more powerful demons remained. Lynn, unable to draw his sword and expose himself, was beaten badly by the demon, nearly at his limit when Yukio arrived to save him. Shihui Mei needed a special herb to treat the wounds, which her green beast grew in its belly, saving the girl. Chuyun hid in a corner, crying over her weakness, while the escaped demon reported to its master, their teacher. Later, Chuyun clashed with Ryuji, angering him, and all the students were punished with heavy demon stones that grew heavier the longer they held them. Yukio left to handle a mission, warning everyone everyone that after the previous night's attack, the dorm was sealed with a magic barrier. Suddenly, the lights went out and a demon attacked again, spraying toxic liquid on everyone. Shihui Mei's green beast grew huge roots to impale the demon, but the demon's body split and regenerated. Shihui Mei collapsed coughing. Others got sick, but Lynn, as Satan's son, was unaffected. He lured the demon to the equipment room as bait, getting attacked again, and at the brink, nearly drew his sword before Yukio arrived to save him. Meanwhile, Shihui Mei discovered another demon attacking the barrier. The students scrambled to figure out which incantation would work, but time was running out. The barrier vanished. Chuyun summoned her demon, but it had no effect. Just as Ryuji was about to be crushed, the lights came on. Late that night, a teacher sneaked into the boys' dorm, weapon in hand, but found only a dummy. Shihui Mei woke Lynn, and together they heard gunshots upstairs. Ues had summoned a demon hand against Yukio. Yukio followed Ues to the rooftop and demanded to know why he wanted to kill Lynn, but Ues only summoned more demons. Yukio fought back, but was grabbed and knocked out, only saved by his holy water. The demon regenerated faster with each attack, and Yukio was flung into the railing, unconscious. The demon crept closer when Lynn, wielding the exorcist sword, stabbed the demon, blue flames roaring. Lynn attacked Ues, but his flames were doused by holy water. Lynn was grabbed by the demon, his head twisted, but when Yukio destroyed the magic circle, the demon vanished. Lynn demanded answers, and Ues finally revealed he was a survivor of the Blue Night. Possessed for only a moment, he lost an eye and had to kill his own family. He hated all things demon-related, especially Satan's son. In his rage, Ues stabbed Lynn, but Lynn didn't fight back, asking only that innocence be spared. Ues warned there were others like him and asked if Lynn was ready to face them. Elsewhere, a black cat, worshipped as a god for hundreds of years, went mad after losing its master and became ferocious, immune to tranquilizers and holy water. It flipped trucks in its rage. Lynn and Yukio arrived, and a female exorcist recalled the story of the black cat who once protected the village by eating rats, but after people stopped raising silkworms, was abandoned and turned violent. The exorcist tried to kill the cat, believing no one could control it after father's death, but Lynn stopped her and tried to reason with the cat, even as he bled. For a moment, Yukio saw father's shadow overlap with Lynn's. Even Mephisto and Amimon watched, amazed, as Lynn managed to calm the cat. Soon after, the exorcist trainees were sent to investigate a haunted amusement park where the ghost of a little boy was scaring guests. Lynn and Shihui Mei searched for him, but when Lynn confronted the boy too harshly, Shihui Mei scolded him. The boy tricked Shihui Mei, leading her into a dark hall of mirrors, while Lynn tried to call for help. Suddenly, Amimon stole Lynn's sword and drew it, releasing Lynn's power. The rides sprang to life, and Lynn, now furious, attacked but lost control, causing chaos until Amimon threw down the sword and fled from a mysterious presence, leaving Lynn feeling weak and ashamed. With his identity as Satan's son exposed, upper-level exorcist Shura arrived to investigate, bringing Lynn to the headquarters. Mephisto was already waiting, and Shura, once father's disciple, demanded answers about Lynn's true identity. When Shura was suddenly stricken, Lynn rushed to help, only to have his sword stolen. Enraged, Lynn's flames burst out as Shura accused him of being Satan's son and said her secret orders were to kill him if necessary. Shura activated a blue lantern to confirm Lynn's demonic blood, attacking him relentlessly. Overpowered and doubting father's judgment, Shura soon lost interest, thinking Lynn too weak, and opened the cell. The trainees were told they had to pass an exam to qualify for real missions, find and light a lantern in a dangerous forest at night, while Shura warned Lynn not to use his flames. In the forest, they were attacked by vampire moths. By day, the forest was safe, but at night, it swarmed with demons. Chuyun summoned her white fox, others used incantations, but Shihui Mei's beast was torn apart, and she was badly injured. Lynn rushed to save her, barely restraining his anger, and when Ryuji questioned the flash of blue light, Lynn played dumb. Eventually, the group worked together to move a giant lantern, which turned out to be a monster, across a sea of insects using teamwork, but when they finished, Lynn was snatched by a huge demon. Ryuji, tired of Lynn always trying to act alone, nailed a charm into the demon's head, hurting it enough for Lynn to escape. They all made it back just as Amimon descended from the sky, bringing chaos. Shura summoned a barrier and returned Lynn's sword, warning him to flee if Amimon fed again. Shihui Mei, possessed by a parasite, was taken by Amimon, who declared he'd make her his bride and tried to bite her. Lynn tried to save her but was blasted away. Amimon, finding Lynn unworthy, was about to gouge out Shihui Mei's eyes when fireworks from the others distracted him. As Lynn drew his sword and revealed his true power, a ferocious battle erupted, blue flames blazing. Mephisto watched, amused, as Lynn and Amimon's fierce fight ended with Lynn's sword cracking under the power, and even Mephisto was stunned. As Lynn lost control and attacked everything, Shihui Mei ran to him and hugged him, calling out to his heart. Just then, the paladin Arthur Angel arrived, furious at Shura for hiding Satan's son and demanding Lynn's execution. Shura fought back but was instantly overpowered overpowered. The elders ordered Mephisto arrested and Lynn and Shura taken away. Mephisto made sure Yukio noticed Lynn's broken sword, hinting it needed urgent repair. Yukio explained to the others that only Lynn inherited Satan's flames, while he himself was just an ordinary person, and if the sword couldn't be fixed, Lynn might be executed. Ryuji revealed that the sword was once a treasure of his family's temple, and if they took it to the swordsmith's house, it might be fixable. At the swordsmith's house, the master declared that repairing the sword was almost impossible since the ritual to infuse it with spirit was lost, but Ryuji suggested using an old blade. At the temple, the group found everyone unconscious, and the Buddha statue tried to break their spirit, but Chimo and Chuyun arrived just in time to drive off the demon. With the sacred nail in hand, Lynn and Mephisto stood trial. Inside the grand hall where the trial was held, Mephisto stood calmly as the presiding elders and the paladin Arthur questioned him harshly about sheltering Satan's sons and hiding the truth from the order.